evening, everybody. I welcome you to today's Roznama, the daily newspaper analysis, and let us quickly begin. Okay, the first piece of news that we must look at and which is significantly important is the entire ruckus in the Lok Sabha yesterday and day before yesterday. And you must have seen a lot of snippets on Instagram and various other social media platforms where the leader of opposition, okay, now there are certain things that you have to keep in mind here, certain terms that you have to understand. The speaker, leader of the opposition, of the Lok Sabha here, okay. Then removal of the speaker. Then we also have a no confidence motion in news today. All right. और इसी से थोड़ा सा relate करके we'll also look into motion of thanks. ठीक है? Okay. Acha. Now, what the entire issue is about is that recently, just a few days back during the budget session and everything, it was the first session of the year and it is a parliamentary convention and the first session of the year is always addressed by the president. Okay. And this address of the president is understood as the motion of thanks. All right. Motion of thanks is a constitutional mechanism provided for under Article 87 of the Constitution, and as per the motion of thanks, in the motion of thanks, the president actually, outlines everything that the present government, that is the majority government, has done in the last 1 year, and whatever are the shortcomings and everything that will be addressed by the government in the budget and then consecutively throughout the year. All right. Now, there's a necessity that whenever this motion of thanks is undertaken, this is always followed by a parliamentary debate. Okay. A parliamentary debate, and this parliamentary debate usually entails questions. Okay. Questions that opposition members generally raise, and whatever questions are raised and whichever debate that entails, the prime minister or any minister that is in power, in the sense that that forms a part of the majority party, they are to answer these questions. All right. And after the questions have been answered, the prime minister gives a concluding speech. All right. And then the motion of thanks is put to vote, which must be passed by the house through a majority. If the motion of thanks is not passed, then it is considered as zero confidence in the present government, and the government can also now be removed from power. The government can be considered as lacking majority in the house and the government can be removed. Okay. All right. So this is one information that you must keep in mind. Now, with respect to this motion of thanks in parliamentary debate, there were a lot of questions that were raised by the opposition members, specifically the leader of opposition of the Lok Sabha. Presently, this position, the leader of opposition, is held by the leader of the majority party in the opposite section. That is the second highest majority, and as of now, it is held by Rahul Gandhi. All right. So there was an instance where Rahul Gandhi was raising questions on the government, and it was seen that the speaker of the house is not letting him voice his opinion. All right. And this was seen for the past many instances, due to which certain MPs now, and as of now, if you look at the numbers, around 100 MPs of the Lok Sabha have moved a motion in the Lok Sabha to remove the speaker, that is Om Birla. All right. Now, when we look at the speaker, the removal of the speaker, vacation of the seat, his resignation has been provided for in Article 94 of the Constitution, and this Article 94 simply says that he can be removed by a resolution from the members of the Lok Sabha. Okay. Now, this particular motion has been moved because the opposition members are saying that the speaker is not non-partisan. Okay. Now, this is one term that you must keep in mind. Not non-partisan simply implies that the speaker's position is supposed to be non-partisan in nature. Non-partisan meaning that the speaker is supposed to be a neutral person. He cannot have political biasness or cannot have any inclinations towards any particular political party. The purpose of installing a speaker is to ensure that everybody in the house gets a fair chance to voice their opinion and a balance in the proceedings and undertakings of the house. Discipline in the house can be maintained. So the opposition leaders have accused him that he is partisan in nature, in the sense that he has his inclinations towards the present BJP government, due to which he does not permit the opposition members to speak. And that is why they have called for removal of the speaker, which has been provided for in Article 94C of the Constitution. Okay. All right. Just two more things. No confidence motion provided for under Article 75 and no confidence, Article 75, and no confidence motion simply implies that the members of the house, they feel that the government cannot, upkeep the entire agenda and entire purpose of howsoever they won the elections and formed the government, and so they must be removed from position. All right. Okay. There is another term that I wanted to flag for you all, which is the leader of opposition of the Lok Sabha. Now, this leader of opposition is only chosen from the second largest party in the house. All right. Now, one party is naturally the majority party who has garnered maximum votes, and then the second highest voted party forms the opposition in the house. All right. Okay. Sometimes this opposition is a coalition of different governments. Like, for example, the present one is known as the India Bloc. And if it is a coalition, then the leader of the coalition becomes the leader of opposition of the house. ठीक है? अच्छा. ये position of leader for opposition, it is not a constitutional position, it is a statutory provision. Statutory provision in the sense that it has been brought into existence through a law. What is that law? The law is known as Salary and Allowances of Leaders of Opposition in the Parliament. Salaries and Allowances of Leaders of Opposition in the Parliament, 1977. It is under this mechanism that the position of leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha has been recognized. All right. And officially, a position as such, that is a position of leader of opposition, was for the first time given recognition in the year 1969, and then it was formally formalized through a statutory act in 1977. Okay. So this is everything that you have to keep in mind with respect to this. All right. Okay. Then this is also a continuation of the article, and they cited reasons like they want to move a no confidence motion against the Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla, accusing him of acting in a partisan manner and denying leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi the opportunity to speak during the debate in motion of thanks to the president for her address to the joint sitting of the parliament. Okay. So do keep in mind all of these. And also there were various opinions where women MPs have said that the Prime Minister was not present during the motion of thanks because he was fearful that he will not be able to answer questions, and that maybe the allegations against the current government by the opposition would be too much. Okay. All right. Then coming to the next article, just taking this up because Delhi is still grappling with the problem of smog and bad AQI. So recently the Delhi government has undertaken this initiative where the present Chief Minister of Delhi has launched Vayu Rakshak initiative. Okay. So Vayu Rakshak initiatives are 36 vehicles, and each vehicle will carry 3 Vayu Rakshaks who will monitor violation of pollution control norms in the NCR region. Okay. Then another thing that I wanted to flag you all for was CAAQMS. Okay, so it stands for Continuous Ambient Air Quality Monitoring System. Okay, continuous ambient air quality monitoring system. Okay, so keep the full form in mind, because full forms is something that is asked in your exam. All right, and also the government has NACP, National Air Quality Management Program, National Air Quality Control Program, and also under this the government has an initiative. This program was launched in 2019, and also the government has an initiative known as GRAP under this. ठीक है, तो GRAP का भी full form important है. Graded Response Action Plan. It is a 4-level mechanism to control pollution in the National Capital Territory region. Okay, and around this NCR region covers around 130 cities. ठीक है, तो क्या याद रखना है इससे? CAAQMS full form, NACP full form launched in 2019, GRAP full form under NACP, and then Vayu Rakshaks have been launched, 6 monitoring stations as well. And Vayu Rakshaks, the purpose is to keep a tab on violation of air quality norms. Okay, so this is just a continuation of the article, where in the NCR region, different countries, they have different states, cities, they have undertaken their various initiatives. For example, Gurgaon is now pushing for electronic vehicles to mitigate pollution, and similarly also other states, other places like Noida, Meerut, etc., they are also bringing up their air quality management mechanisms. Okay, this is also another article which focuses on the same thing, that 6 more AQI monitoring stations have been set up. Okay, and presently now this air quality monitoring stations stand at 46. Okay, then another article, a good one, because again terminologies are important and year is important. Okay, so bonded labor continues despite 50 years of its abolition. 50 years of its abolition, in the sense that Bonded Labor Abolition Act, okay, Bonded Labor Abolition Act was enacted in 1975, implemented from 1976, and now we have, or we are stepping into the 50th year where bonded labor has been banned or abolished in the country. But this particular article gives a stark irony to the fact that in spite of it being abolished 50 years ago, there are still people who are suffering from this problem in states like Jharkhand, Bihar, West Bengal, etc., where still bonded labor exists. Okay, so only the facts are important for you all. That is the name, Bonded Labor System Abolition Act, brought into existence 1975, implemented from 1976. The fundamental rights which they abrogate, do keep in mind, Article 21, okay, fundamental right to life and personal liberty. Then naturally we have 2 articles, which is freedom against exploitation. So Article 23 and 24 also are fundamental rights, root out beggary or any form of forced labor. Then 2 more things that I want to flag for you all are 2 terms. One is girmitias. Okay, girmitias, do keep the name in mind. Girmitia is a 20th century term, okay, which was used to denote all the labor that was, or men who were taken from India to various British colonies like Fiji, Mauritius, Guyana, etc. And there they were known as girmitias. The entire community came to be known as girmitias, and they were made to forcefully work on British colonial estates, etc., thereby understood as bonded labor. Okay, so do keep in mind the term girmitia. Okay, all right. Then another thing that I wanted to flag again is a term known as Vishti. Okay, Vishti is an ancient Indian history term which also represents bonded or forced labor. Okay, so do keep this in mind. All right. Then moving to the next one, now recently our defense minister had gone to Greece and he has inked various pacts with Greece in terms of defense. All right. So one thing that you have to keep in mind that they've exchanged a bilateral military cooperation plan for 2026, and also they have agreed to expand defense production between the two countries, aligning with India's Atmanirbhar Bharat, and this defense production is to be from 2026 to 2030, a 5-year initiative. Then also Greece has announced the deployment of Greece International Liaison Officer at Information Fusion Center, Indian Ocean region in Gurugram. So do keep in mind this aligns with enhanced maritime cooperation. Okay, and then also he laid a wreath on India's National War Memorial. If this is another article from the Indian Express, the previous one was from the Hindu. So what are whom did Rajnath Singh meet? Do keep the name in mind. He met the Greek Defense Minister Nicola Georgios Dendias at the Manekshaw Center. He had come to India. Then they undertook bilateral military cooperation plan for the year 2026, positioning of liaison officers at Information Fusion Center, Indian Ocean region. This is what you have to keep in mind, and Agenda 2050 to bring about greater defense production between Greece and India. Okay, then our Prime Minister is in Seychelles right now, and this is a wonderful article which gives you a lot of information. So do keep in mind where during his visit, India undertook various pacts and cooperation initiatives in the spheres of renewable energy, climate solutions. Also, he welcomed Seychelles as a full member to Colombo Security Conclave. Okay, do keep the name in mind. Colombo Security Conclave, a regional maritime grouping which was formed in 2011 by India, Sri Lanka, and Maldives. Okay, now it has been expanded to include Mauritius and Bangladesh as well. All right. Iske alawa, they've also issued joint ventures or joint initiatives, vision for sustainability, economic growth, security through enhanced linkages, which has been abbreviated as CESL. Okay. So do keep in mind CESL as well, which is naturally going to foster cooperation between the two countries. Okay, and then 100 days after Island Nation 50th anniversary also talks about 50th anniversary of India-Seychelles diplomatic relations. Our Prime and also talks about a cultural exchange program for 5 years. Cultural exchange program for 5 years, 2026 to 2030. A special economic package of $175 million, $175 million, and then fostering India's vision of Mahasagar. All right, so there are quite a few initiatives that have been outlined that you must keep in mind. So Mahasagar, a full form, has been asked recently, I think in the ALET exam last year. Do remember the full form yet? Still, mutual and holistic advancement for security and growth across regions. This was launched by the Prime Minister in 2025. This was an expansion on our previous doctrine of Sagar, which was security and growth for all in the region. This was launched in 2015. Okay, do keep in mind these things. Sagar 2015, Mahasagar 2025, Colombo Security Conclave 2011. Seychelles has been invited into it. Launching of CESL and cultural exchange program for the next 5 years, and a line of credit of $175 million from India to Seychelles, and also celebrating 50th anniversary of India-Seychelles diplomatic dialogue. Okay. All right. Then moving to the editorials for today, very good pieces were there today. Okay. Now, for quite a few days in the past, 1 or 2, 3, 4 days, there were a lot of, din in the parliament, where the present members, even the erstwhile members like P. Chidambaram, they did raise questions on the fact that this particular free trade agreement that India, or trade deal, not free trade agreement, the trade deal that India has undertaken with the United States is actually more in favor of US than in the favor of India. Okay, so this article gives you a very good insight as to how is it in favor of America. Okay, so do go through it. It says that India cuts tariffs to 0. India has cut Indian tariffs on USA to 0, while US imposes high rates as high as 18% on India. Okay, so India ने 0 tariffs लगाए हैं and US has imposed 18% tariffs. Second thing, that India has committed to purchasing $500 billion worth of American goods over the next 5 years. In exchange for this, America has not made any such commitment. Which free trade agreement contains a one-way obligation. Okay, this is a good article. Do go through it, and also it draws attention to the fact that why the Indian farmers have also been protesting of late, that India has put 0% tariffs on agricultural products like sorghum, corn, and cotton, which is naturally grown in larger quantities in India. So the Indian agriculture sector might be hit. Okay, so do go through this article. It's a wonderful article written by Pratap Bhanu Mehta. Okay, then the next article, I only wanted to flag India-Malaysia deal, India-Malaysia relations for you with from this particular article. So you do go through it. This article begins on the note saying that India and Malaysia did have, did see certain cooling in relations in the last 1 or 2 years, simply because the Malaysian president or the Malaysian leadership showed certain inclinations towards Pakistan. Why was this undertaken? Why such inclinations? That was drawn from the fact that Malaysia did not outrightly condemn Pahalgam terror attacks, but they did condemn, but they did call for further investigation and not putting such free allegations on the country. So this article basically talks about how India and Malaysia can actually gain much from good cordial relations, and also talks about or brings into picture ASEAN ATIGA, which is India Trade in Goods and Agreement, which also includes Malaysia as a part of free trade region as per India and ASEAN trade agreement. Okay, so do go through this article. Okay, then another article this year for the Kimberley process. Okay, so the Kimberley process was in news, and why is it important is because India has assumed the chair for the Kimberley process in 2026. What is Kimberley process? Now, Kimberley process is a multinational mechanism or structure which has been brought into existence to specifically govern the trade of conflict diamonds. Okay, acha. Conflict diamonds are specifically those diamonds which are produced, extracted mostly in conflicted regions and by illegitimate or illegal institutions, parties, contenders, which are not recognized by the legible government of that particular region. Conflict diamonds are also understood as blood diamonds. Okay, so do keep in mind the term. Kimberley process is specifically outlined to undertake the governance of conflict diamonds. All right, and these are basically rough diamonds which are mined in an area controlled by insurgent forces whose sale is used to finance anti-government military groups. Okay, so the article talks about what is Kimberley process and what is its current structure. Okay, so which are used illegally by rebel or insurgent groups across the world. Kimberley process was initiated in May 2000. Do remember it, when the countries of South Africa initiated dialogues to prevent the trade in conflict of diamonds. Negotiations with 37 signatory parties in 2003 led to Kimberley Process Certification Scheme. Okay, so Kimberley Process initiated in 2000, then Kimberley Process Certification Scheme in 2003. Okay, today it has how many? It has 60 participants representing 86 countries, okay, and accounts for 99.8% of global diamond production. All right. Why is it important for India? Is because India, although does not undertake major production of diamonds, but is a major importer of diamond, around 40%. All right. So India needs to tread carefully when it comes to these things, because we are importing diamonds, and Africa is solely one region as of now, which is majorly hit with such conflicts, etc. And also India undertakes massive import of diamonds from Africa. Okay, so do go through this article. It's an important one this year because India has taken the chairship of Kimberley Process for 2026. Okay, okay. Then the new article, this particular article, I only wanted to flag RRTS for you. Do keep in mind its name is Regional Rapid Transit System. It is a high-speed rail travel which was proposed in Kerala, I think 3-4 years back, and it basically ran from Thiruvananthapuram to Kasaragod. Now, this particular rail track in Kerala, the places where it was connecting and the region which it was traversing, that is mostly the Western Ghats region, it was considered as ecologically very, very sensitive, and the amount of deforestation and construction that was to be undertaken under the rapid rail transit system, this would result in massive ecological imbalances in the region. Okay, so that is why the article has been brought forth. So do go through this, go through it in mind, and also keep in mind that as of now we have one connecting Delhi to Meerut, and it is a high speed connectivity, and we are running it in North India. All right, so along same lines it was being undertaken in Kerala, but citing ecological disturbances, for the time being it was put on hold. Okay, all right. Then again a beautiful article which gives an insight that India should not celebrate this feat that India has undertaken major trade pacts and trade deals of late with USA, with the European Union, with EFTA countries, with United Kingdom. So it has brought attention to the fact that maybe India did undertake an trade deal under pressure, etc. But India has grown exponentially in terms of a negotiator. Okay, it gives you a good insight. Do go through it. All right. Then coming to news in short. All right, just a few days back, when India and the United States of America had signed the interim trade deal, the US president did go out and about and make this entire statement saying that now India has agreed to stop buying Russian oil, and India is going to buy more oil from USA and potentially Venezuela. Okay, so just after that statement, 1 or 2 days later, it was in the headlines saying that Indian oil purchases from Russia has hit a 38-month low. All right. So again, two things that align more with Trump's statement, and then naturally this particular piece of news where they have said that two Indian companies, that is the Indian Oil Corporation and Hindustan Petroleum Limited, have jointly bought 2 million barrels of Venezuela crude oil. Okay, and that Venezuela crude oil has been put aboard for transference to India. Okay, so do keep this fact in mind that we've actually purchased oil from Venezuela. And just a few days back, there was another article which actually drew a comparison from Iranian oil as well as Venezuelan oil, where the article did say that Iranian oil is of a much superior quality as compared to the Venezuelan oil. Iranian oil, is more free flowing and has less impurity as compared to Venezuelan oil, which has more of sludge which makes, you know, the entire process of extracting oil from crude oil very, very monetarily consuming. Okay. All right. Then this another article alongside it, why I wanted to take it up was for this particular scheme, Prime Minister Employment Generation Scheme. This scheme has been launched by the government since 2008, and under the scheme, loans are extended to micro, small, and medium enterprises. And the government, the RBI, Reserve Bank of India, has insisted that the commercial banks must extend collateral free loans to MSMEs up to 20 lakh of rupees. Okay. Now, what is a collateral? A collateral is basically an equivalent amount of asset that a person who is asking for a loan from the bank has to keep with the bank in exchange for the loan that the bank is going to extend to this person. The purpose of a collateral is simply this, that because you are taking a loan and this loan that the bank is extending to any individual, it is a loan that the bank is giving from the total deposits of other people that the bank has. So the bank will have to return that deposit to the people also someday when the people want that money. And if the bank keeps on extending loans and these loans, they don't come back to the bank, then it will be difficult for the bank to extend or give back this money to the general public. So just to keep the bank secure in these terms, the bank takes a collateral which is equivalent to the amount of money that a particular borrower is asking. And in case the borrower defaults on giving back or repaying the principal amount and the interest, etc., then the bank at least has a security that the bank can sell off this collateral, realize the money, and not face losses. Okay. But then due to lack of collateral, certain sectors like agriculture, like MSME, they faced losses in the terms that they couldn't access formal sector loans. They had to go and access informal sector loans where the money lenders would, you know, give charge exorbitant interest rates, etc., which would further drive them to poverty. So to do away with these things and to bring about formalization of the credit system in the country, the government started instructing the banks to formulate policies, programs where collateral free loans can be extended to the priority sectors in the country. Okay. So under this particular program, RBI has advised the commercial banks to extend collateral free loans up to 20 lakhs to such MSME entrepreneurs. Okay. One more thing, that along the same lines, there is another scheme that the government undertakes, which is known as the Mudra Yojana. Mudra Yojana, launched in 2015. It has 4 categories of loan. Okay. Shishu, Kishore, Tarun, and Tarun Plus. ठीक है, ये 4 कैटेगरी के लोन्स हैं. And under Mudra Yojana also, the provision is to extend collateral free loans to non-agricultural, non-farm sectors. And this loan also maximum limit is 20 lakhs. So the loans are divided into 4 categories. Shishu entails loans up to 50,000 of rupees. Kishore 50,000 to 5 lakhs. Tarun is 5 to 10 lakhs, and Tarun Plus is 10 to 20 lakhs. Tarun Plus has been launched or added to the Mudra Yojana initiative in 2024. Okay. So do keep this in mind, align it with the same. Okay. Then, okay, this also just wanted to flag for you. This just keep in mind that a regional service center is to be set up in Andaman and Nicobar Island. And what is the purpose of this? Its purpose is only to give timely information, predictions in terms of tsunamis or other natural disasters. All right. As of now, the institution that actually works there is the Indian National Center for Ocean Information and Services, and it is the agency which undertakes tsunami warning in the country. Okay, so this is just a brief news that you must keep in mind. Okay, so this was everything from the newspaper today. I hope it is absolutely clear, and I'll see you tomorrow with the next. थैंक यू।